Hello, everyone. Carly Haynes, a report on the ground for this massive story. We've had a lot of financial issues from Rocky Mount. Now we're in Cary. Town manager is terminated. He resigns. He gets a severance package. Guys, this is a big story. If you're watching, like and subscribe, follow for more. Carly, what happened?
So this all got started a few months ago, actually. So it's important to say that the town manager is one of 3 positions within the town of Cary that reports directly to council.
Okay.
So as the council was gearing up to give a performance review, they received this anonymous public records request from somebody by the name of A. Williams. And it requested information related to payments the town made for a council member's tuition.
Oh.
And town officials have really cited this as the catalyst for questions over the now former town manager's spending. And that's how we really started digging into all of this. So when we were at an emergency session earlier this week, so on Monday, I believe, the mayor had said that they had initially put the town manager, Sean Stegall, on paid administrative leave for 3 reasons: over-the-top financial spending, lack of transparency with council, and then in general, the creation of an unhealthy work environment.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. That's okay. All right. That's a lot. First of all, what is a town manager? Let's talk about that. What is a town manager? What was his job duties? I thought he was doing the jobs of a mayor. Like, what's going on there with that?
So the town manager actually has a lot of responsibility, and it would be the top job in a municipality. I mean, they're making budget decisions, they're creating large purchases, and they're really the manager of the happenings of the town. Whereas, the mayor has a lot of responsibilities too, but is more so a figurehead of the town of Cary.
And then he reports to the council, correct?
Town manager reports to the council.
Oh, okay. All right. Good to know. So let's talk about spending. So they are not allowed to have like tuition reimbursement programs. Like, was that, or he just decided not to tell anyone and just do it? Is that kind of what happened there?
So it's really interesting. When we were looking at the public records request by A. Williams, we were seeing that Sean Stegall was initially the person to put the Northwestern program into the view of council member Lori Bush.
Yes.
He said, this would be a great opportunity, we should do it together. And later on, the town confirmed that it paid $37,300 for this master's degree tuition for Lori Bush. So then the question that we immediately started having was, well, companies sometimes have professional development funds that they can provide covering college tuition for some of their employees, but is a government allowed to do that essentially with public funds? And so we asked that question, and Lori Bush, says that she wasn't aware that not a lot of council members or anybody on council other than her knew about the tuition payment. So once she realized that, she paid it all back. But when we talked to former council members, they said there isn't a policy that says one way or another if a town can pay tuition in that way.
Okay.
So when we're talking about tens of thousands of dollars, if there isn't a policy, this former council member said, does that make it okay? And should somebody have raised the red flags of, hey, if we're going to be paying for this, we might want to tell somebody about it?
Yeah, I think so too. I think if I'm going to do something like that, I'll tell my supervisor, hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. That's a good idea, a good train of thought. Also, let's talk about, I'm looking at the web article here, hotel nights, missing checks, and land purchases. What's going on with that story? A 2023 conference in Austin, Texas. He spent more than $3,000 on a hotel stay for 4 nights at a different hotel from where his other employees stayed. Like, what's going on there?
And so that's where there are going to be reviews into policies and processes of whether this was okay. So I want to make it clear, the mayor has said that as of this point, they are not aware that Sean Stegall did anything illegal. But when we were talking about over-the-top spending, we might be citing some of those travel expenses for that. Did he need to be paying thousands of dollars in a nice hotel or for some of these rideshare services when he's doing travel? When he's going to a conference, did several employees need to be going, where now the town is paying for all of those people, or was that just a little bit too much for what this conference lended itself to?
I get
So they're reviewing that right now. The town of Cary has hired a law firm to investigate, just in general some of their processes, and the state auditor's office is now reviewing some of Cary's policies to determine whether an audit is warranted. When we're talking about the land purchases, that is a whole other topic that I can also get into.
Okay, so we're talking about the first section with the hotel, this frivolous spending. Those are more so, hey, we just didn't like it. Nothing illegal, just let's review our internal policies with that. What's going on with these land purchases?
So the land purchases was a really interesting one.
Okay.
This is when I mentioned that former council member. This was Jennifer Robinson. She had actually raised red flags August 20th, 2025 about several of the councils, just in general, the town's spending and budgetary financial decisions.
Yeah. Okay.
But so we talked to her about that email, and while we were talking to her, she also mentioned that the town of Cary purchased 2 adjacent properties next to one another by Cary Elementary School. And not everybody on the council knew about the purchase. And this, together, those pieces of property cost more than $1 million, which is a big purchase not to bring in front of council.
It's a couple dollars.
Right.
Couple dollars right there. Yeah.
Right. And, for us, it seems so big, but maybe for a town, it's just, one purchase out of many. But what was interesting was it was against the assistant town manager's recommendation. And so the fact that, this was not a unanimous decision, even between the few people who did know about it, it's interesting that they wouldn't bring it to more people. And at this point, we only knew of 3 people who knew about that purchase at the time, and it was town manager Sean Stegall, council member Lori Bush, and then the assistant town manager. So just a lot of questions overall about how this was, able to happen. Now, one of the other questions that we're looking into
What's going on?
is I'm sorry?
I said, what's going on?
Yes.
Yeah.
So one of the other questions that we're looking into is what is the town manager authorized to purchase without bringing it in front of council?
Yeah.
I mean, we have heard, and we haven't confirmed this, but we have heard, was there a policy in place that there were, there was a level of $1 million that he could purchase without having to go in front of council.
Yeah.
So now if this is over $1 million, but he divided it into 2 purchases, is he technically, going above what he was authorized to do? And so those are the questions that we're looking into right now of what was he allowed to do? Was he able to get around some of the, barriers that were in front of him here? And the mayor has already taken this whole experience and said, look, no more one-on-one conversations. Going forward, the town of Cary is going to make sure this never happens again. And we're going to make sure that we have meetings where everybody is on board. And let's just make that a good rule of thought going forward.
And to anybody listening, that $1 million threshold is actually pretty important because, you want to be able to do your job and move autonomously, and having to get requests for every single dollar spent slows down the process. Having the town manager having a limit, like a credit card, don't go over this limit and then you're good to go. So I totally understand that. But let's recap the timeline. He had and I kind of understand this now, tuition reimbursement, no one knew about. Hotel spending, no one knew about until now. Land purchases, no one knew about till now. I see where the trust kind of got fractured in this, and it was like, I think it's time to go on administrative leave and review other things as well. Am I tracking that right?
That's absolutely right. Yeah. So and that all happened, in the fall timeline where this all started coming together, when that public records request was put out, and those questions really started surfacing. And that's when they said, okay, we're going to put him on paid administrative leave. That was on November 21st. On November 25th, the town of Cary brought in the state auditor's office just to check things out, to let them know.
Yes, for sure.
And it wasn't until the weekend before December 15th, so we don't know if it was December 13th or 14th. Actually, yes, we do. It was December 13th when Sean Stegall officially agreed to resign. And so we're talking about several weeks of him on paid administrative leave before he separated from the town of Cary, and then Deputy Town Manager Russ Overton was sworn in as interim.
Well, wow. Okay. Well, first of all, I want to applaud you. High five for remembering all those dates off the top of your head, off of the
I was
rip.
having to picture them with what we saw in our reporting recently.
Yeah, and then you're doing this like almost every day for the past couple of weeks and things like that. Reading into this, finding your sources and things like that. Also, talk a little bit about where you're from, who you are, why do you report, and things like that. You have these sources on the ground. People see you on TV. Paint a little bit of the picture for the viewers.
Yeah, so I'm Carly Haynes, working at WRAL for about 2.5 years. And really, I mean, when we cover these stories, what's happening first starts with one concern by one person, right? And I think that what we've seen just historically is that opens the floodgates for other people to start reviewing what they themselves have experienced. And when they see there's somebody actually reporting on it and digging into it, there's that level of trust of, if I tell you this, are you going to help me figure it out? Because I didn't know where to put this information before. And could something result from this? And the reason why we've been doing this every single day and looking into this is because this is taxpayer money. These are people who live in Cary. They pay a lot to live in Cary. Those houses aren't cheap.
No.
And you want to make sure that your town is using that money responsibly.
Absolutely.
And I think this is just, if anything else, just transparency. We, like the mayor said, not aware of him doing anything illegal, but if Cary taxpayers were aware of where their money was going, would they support it?
Yeah.
And I think that's really why we're doing this coverage. But I've covered this. I'm doing general assignments, so I've covered a lot of crime. We do a lot of court cases, court records. I mean, it's a mix of, we're talking to people and what matters to them, and then we're really firming up the details by going into the tangible facts and the data. So.
Well, Carly, you're killing it. Thank you so much for your time, and I love working with you. And guys, if you're watching this, like and subscribe and follow for more content you're not going to get anywhere else.